Good morning, dear students. Up till now, we have studied about the energy density and the energy stored in the capacitor. So now we are going to discuss what happens when we consider a system having combination of capacitors. There is energy stored in series and parallel combination of capacitors. Also, in today's lecture, we will discuss what is the effect on the energy when we connect two capacitors by a conducting wire. Additionally, one more topic we will be discussing today, that is the effect of dielectric slab on the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. So come to the first topic, energy stored in series and parallel combination of capacitors. First of all, come to the series combination. Now we know in series combination, the effective capacitance is given by the sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitors. That is, if we are having n capacitors connected in series, then 1 by C equivalent, that is the effective capacitance, reciprocal of the effective capacitance is equal to what? Sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitances. So 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 up till 1 by Cn will give you 1 by C equivalent. So now, what will be the energy stored U? If we are considering equivalent capacitance C, then the energy stored is given by the relation Q square by 2C. This we have derived earlier. So instead of 1 by C, we can substitute it as 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 up till 1 by Cn. Right? Now, opening the bracket, what we get? First term will come out to be Q square by 2C1. Second term, Q square by 2C2. Third term, Q square by 2C3 and so on. And nth term will come out to be Q square by 2Cn. Now, what is Q square by 2C1 equals to? It is equal to the energy stored in the first capacitor. It can be written as U1. Similarly, Q square by 2C2 is energy stored in the second capacitor and so on. Nth term will be termed as Un. So what we get finally, that the energy stored in a series combination of capacitor, that is U equals to what? U1 plus U2 plus U3 up till Un. It means it is equal to the sum of the energies stored in individual capacitors. Right? So what we can write? The total energy stored in the system is sum of the energy stored in the individual capacitors. So next come to the what happens when we consider a system having parallel combination of capacitors. Now, if n capacitors are connected in parallel, effective capacitance or equivalent capacitance is given by C is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 up till Cn. We have derived this relation earlier. So, if we consider equivalent capacitance to be C and potential is V, then the energy stored is given by U is equal to half C V square. Now, in place of C, we can put the above relation, that is C1 plus C2 plus C3 up till Cn. If you open the bracket, again the first term will come out to be half C1 V square. Second term will come out to be half C2 V square and so on. Last term will come out to be half Cn V square. Now this first term can be written as U1. Second term can be written as U2 and so on. And nth term is Un. So what we get? Once again, we obtain the same result. U is equal to U1 plus U2 plus U3 up till Un. It means the total energy stored in the system is the sum of the energy stored in the individual capacitors. Thus, finally, we conclude that the total energy stored in any setup of condensers, whether it is parallel or series, it is the sum of the energies stored in individual capacitors or individual condensers, whatever be their mode of combination. You have to remember this result. Now come to the next part, that is loss of energy on the sharing of charges between the two capacitors which are connected in parallel. Right? Now, if we consider two capacitors charged to different potentials, right? We are considering two capacitors having capacitance say C1 and C2. They are having charges Q1 and Q2 and they are charged to different potentials say V1 and V2. Now they are connected by a conducting wire. What will happen? The potentials of the two capacitors are different. So definitely when these two capacitors are connected by a conducting wire, charge will start flowing through the wire from the one at higher potential to the other at lower potential. This flow of charge continues till their potential become equal, or you can say common potential is obtained. The equal potential of two capacitors is called as the common potential. Obviously, no charge is lost in the process of sharing of charges by the two capacitors. So it means total charge after sharing is equal to the total charge before sharing. Now what is the total charge after sharing? If we take common potential to be capital V, then we can write C1 plus C2 multiplied by V is equal to what? C1 V1 plus C2 V2. C1 V1 is the charge on the first capacitor before sharing. C2 V2 is the charge on the second capacitor after sharing. Similarly, C1 V is the charge on the first capacitor after sharing of charges, and C2V is the charge on the second capacitor after sharing of charges. So taking out V common, we can write it as C1 plus C2 within the brackets multiplied by V, and it is equal to C1V plus C2V by charge conservation. So from here what we get? V is equal to C1V1 plus C2V2 divided by C1 plus C2. This is the common potential obtained after the sharing of charges. So what is common potential? You can look at the formula. It is equal to what? C1 V1 plus C2 V2. It is actually the total charge, because C1 V1 is the charge on first capacitor and C2 V2 is the charge on the second capacitor. We are adding these two charges, so it means it is the total charge in the numerator. What about in the term in the denominator? It is C1 plus C2. So it is the total capacity. So we can write this as common potential equals to what? Total charge divided by the total capacity gives you the common potential. So total energy before sharing. Now what happens to the energy? Does it remain the same on the sharing of charges or it changes? Let us find out that. Now what is the total energy before sharing of charges? UI equals to, I stands for the initial energy of the system having two capacitors. It will be equal to sum of the energy stored in the individual capacitors, as we have already studied. So half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square is equal to UI. Now total energy after sharing of charges can be calculated as UF is equal to half C1 V square plus half C2 V square. V square can be taken common. It can be rewritten as half C1 plus C2 within the brackets multiplied by V square. What we get? UF. It is the final energy of the system, that is, it is the total energy after sharing of charges. Now we are to calculate whether this energy is same as that of the initial energy. So let us find out the difference between the two, that is UI minus UF. You have to subtract these two terms. These steps of calculations are not being shown in the PPT. Better you solve it in your copy. It's a simple subtraction. You take the denominator and then simplify it. Finally, the relation obtained, it comes out to be C1 plus C2 within the brackets V1 minus V2 whole square divided by twice of C1 plus C2. Now, In the numerator, there is a square of a term. We know the square of a term can never be negative. So it means V1 minus V2 whole square is always a positive term. Whereas C1 into C2 is also positive, as capacitance can never be negative. In the denominator, C1 plus C2 is again a positive term and 2 is already positive. So we come to know Ui minus Uf is always a positive term. It means it is always greater than 0. So Ui minus Uf greater than 0, it means Ui is greater than Uf. It means there is some loss of energy when two charged capacitors are connected together. Total energy after contact is somewhat less than total energy before contact. Or you can say there occurs a loss of energy U1 minus U2 on sharing of charges. The loss of energy appears as heat, and the wire connecting the two capacitors also become hot. It also appears in a form of sparking in the connecting wire. So remember, loss of energy appears in the form of sparking and heat produced in the connecting wire. Now come to the next part. What is the effect of dielectric slab on the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor? Now what is dielectric? We have already done this. It is an insulating substance which cannot conduct electricity, but it can transmit electrical effects. So first of all, we consider